Hi, today we are going to learn about the Torah called Shellac. Shellac means, which talks about the spies. Moses, before entering into the Canaan land, he sends almost about 12 spies to spy the land of Israel. When the land of Israel was being spied, 10 people came in, and these 10 people came back and they said that we cannot go inside the land of Israel right now. So tough, the land is not ready yet, and we must practice Torah before entering the land. And because of their bad report and the bad report about the land, they were punished to stay in the desert land for 40 years. You know, it is not only not a good idea to talk bad about the Jewish people. Also, it is a very bad idea to talk about the land Israel itself. They came and gave the 10 spies, they came and gave the bad report about the land, and they got punished and they stayed for 40 years in the desert land. Well, Caleb and the Joshua, they came back and they gave a good report. They said that it is nice to stay inside the land because the reason why is that we can practice some mitzvahs, the Torah, inside the land. And there are some Torahs to be exercised, to be practiced inside the land of Israel. It was, it is pertaining to the land of Israel. It is about the land. There are some commandments and there are some regulation rules which is so pertain about the land. So Joshua and Caleb said that we can do that. This is about time for us to, get into the land. When Israel people got out of the, Egypt, God gave them almost 613 Torahs or commandments. I'm sorry. In these 613 commandments, there were 248 positive commandments and 365 negative commandments. And some of the commandments are supposed to be exercised inside the land of Israel. These 10 tribe people, what they did, the 10 spies, what they did basically, they said that we have a lot of mitzvahs to be exercised. So let us practice inside, outside the land before entering into the land. Then we will go into the land of Israel. This brought them a very big, terrible mistake on their camp, and it made them to cry forever. So there is a hope is expected. There is a faith is expected from the Jewish people before entering the land. And Joshua and Caleb, they fulfilled that. They said faithfully, we can go right now, and this is a time that we should do it. Psalm, in the book of Psalm 119, he wrote about this one. The book of Psalm is divided into 22 sections. These 22 sections are titled as 22 alphabets of Hebrew. If you want to learn the Hebrew alphabet, read 119 Psalms. And in that Psalms, it is written 22 alphabets in every aleph being divided into 8 sections. 8 verses, each and every aleph has been divided. So it's almost like 176 verses or 176 sentences. The word shellac means it talks about the spice. And the main content in this one is a name called Felet. Felet, in the numerologically speaking or gematrially speaking, Felet means 119. And, Felet, the name Felet is mentioned in the First Chronicles chapter 2, or I think verse I believe the word is somewhere probably maybe 47, chapter 2, 47 or something. So it talks about the sons of Caleb. Caleb, who stood the challenges of these 10 spices. Spice. I'm so sorry about my language today. It's not spicy, this is spice. The 10 spice. So eh, you know what? I'm really very good in cooking, so I always talk about the spices. Those spices came as the spices. I'm sorry for that. Well, anyways, so um, Caleb stood against all the sayings, all the challenges of these 10 spies who brought the bad news for the land. So he stood against them, and he and Joshua, they both stood against them, went in the land faithfully, and then they could able to, make that land possibly, as their own land or the Canaan land or land of Canaan. So what we're trying to achieve in here, what is the idea? What we're getting in over here, is that you know when we talk about this Torah portion, they are supposed to read the Torah inside the land. There were some mitzvahs. Mitzvahs is basically commandments, which talks about the land, and a lot of rules pertaining to the lands. And they boldly went inside and they started exercising those Torahs inside the land itself. The same way we too, we are too, like it made a big cry. These 10 spies, they brought a big cry to the Israel into the Israel camp. The only the rescued thing is that once they enter into the land of Canaan by the faith, and then they have a faith and a belief that Jesus or Messiah will come back and wipe away all the tears. There is one more word called Dema. Dema means it's an addition. It's 119 plus 1, which is the coming of Jesus Christ, coming of the Messiah, is called to 120. Dema is equal to 120. The word Dema is. So in Arabic, so by faith, we think Jesus will come back and raise all the dead people and give us a life, and he will wipe out all the tears, and there will be only happiness. He will change the tears into happiness in the land of Israel. And the same way it is in our life too. Before we give birth ourselves into this world, we cry when we come into the world and we enter into the world. Before leaving this world, there is a purpose in our life, in our soul, to be lived faithfully. Have faith in our life, and then work with the faith, stay with that faith, sustaining that faith, believing and hoping that Jesus is going to come back and wipe away all our sins. That's the only faith and hope that we will be having in our life journey. That's what the main idea and focus is, that here in this whole Torah portion. So, in order to do that, in order to practice that, we need to exercise the Torah inside the land. 119 Psalms was written in a way that if you narrate, if you do exercise every single day, your speech will be purified. Your speech will be redefined. Your speech will be it'll clear the purify the speech if we read 119 Psalms. It is really good because it is already having a solution for the sins those 10 spies brought to the Israel camp. So if they read these Psalms back, and then there is an opportunity for them to clear and purify their sins. 119 Psalms is a fantastic Psalms to read, and to every single day read the 119 Psalms, get purified in your heart, in your mind, and in your tongue. So Shellac means it is about the spice, and this Shellac's idea is that to live our life, believe in a hope and faith, Jesus will be coming and wiping out all our tears. And in order to do that, we have to do some of the Torah inside the land itself, inside the Israel itself. Today, we talk a lot about Israel, the land. Remember the 10 spies. They talked bad about the land. 40 years they were finished. They were punished for 40 years. The whole, not only them, the whole Israel generation was punished for 40 years. It is not only bad, or not only it's not good to talk bad about the Jewish people, it is as much as possible. It is not good, like if you're going to talk bad about this country itself, we have to be very careful what we are leashing out in our mouth, from our mouth. We don't want to leash out the dogs from our mouth and get punished or get bitten by themselves. So, Shellac means about the spies. Spies who went inside the land and who brought the bad news. Joshua and Caleb, who went in the same land, brought the best news. I want everybody to exercise that type of faith as long as they live under this in this world, and get those mitzvahs to be exercised, and have a faith and a hope that Jesus Christ is going to come back and wipe away all our sins. The main purpose of our life is not to consume rich, not to consume the knowledge, not to consume the wealth, not to consume the power. It is to live in faith or sustain our soul, because we eat every single day to sustain our physical need to live. We eat every single day the same way. In order to survive our souls spiritually, we need to read Torah every single day. Most of you might have definitely would have gotten very much bored enough with my informations, because I always talk about this Torah portion. Read every day, read the Torah about the Jewish, about the nation. But in future, one day you will appreciate me, or you will definitely think about me. Yes, Ramesh told long time back the same thing. So that is what my focus is, because I am giving out what exactly that what God tells me to do to you. It is up to you to develop and to bring it up in a big way, so that you can also join in the celebration that we all do in our place here. You can also join in the celebration. Okay, so Shellac is about the spies. Spies gave the bad news. Spies talk about the bad news about the Holy Land. They got punished 40 years, made a big cry to the land and to this people. But Joshua and Caleb brought everything to this back to the Israel people. Faithfully, conducted all the Torahs, all the procedures of the Torahs inside the land of Israel, and there is a faith and hope for us to move from our Jesus Christ, who's coming, will be coming for the second time to wipe out all the sins and our tears, and we will be raised with our bodies, and we'll be joining in the sky, and we'll be meeting in the heavens with all the glory and happiness. May God bless you all, and I'll come back with another Torah next time. Until then, be safe, be happy, read 119 Psalms every single day, purify your speech. Bye.